I had a lot of attempts on K2, 6 summit attempts. I cannot explain why I decided to continue climbing, but there was the big willpower to climb up to the top. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. With K2, I have a very special relationship since many years because I had lots of attempts on K2. 6 summit attempts I had from the south side. We have chosen always the very direct line, the so-called Jason route up to the shoulder. In 2007, on one expedition, we had 2 summit attempts, but we had to return to turn back because of bad weather. And in 2009, we tried again twice without success, but we came down safe. It was the most important. And in 2010, I had again 2 summit attempts without success. You see here on the right side is the so-called normal route, the Abruzzi route, who leads up to the shoulder, and on the shoulder, little bit lower than 8,000 meters. The 2 routes comes together, and the last 600 meters are the same way up to the highest point. My husband Ralph, he climbed K2 already in 1994. He had only 1 summit attempt and he could reach the summit immediately. He was very lucky with the weather and of course very strong. Yes, in 2010, on our second attempt, our good friend fell down from the bottleneck more than 1,000 meters. And immediately after we stopped this expedition, I didn't know if I would ever come back to this mountain. I had just a feeling that I need a big distance now, and the only thing who helped me was that I could talk with Ralph. We had very long talkings. I felt that the positive feeling for K2 comes back. I cannot explain why, but there was the big wish to go back to K2. And I told Ralph, can you understand that I would like to try again climbing K2? And he could understand. First he told me, but please accept that I will not join you because I climbed already and now it's enough for me. And then I also felt that if I would like to go back, then I would learn about another route. And so I decided to go to the north side of K2 to try the North Pillar. And when I told this Ralph, then immediately he told me, Gerlinde, if you try the North Pillar, I will come with you. And everybody can imagine how happy I was. Here I show you an animation from the German Earth Observation Center. You fly more or less virtual around K2, and it was so helpful for us during our preparation. We could see the whole North Pillar. We could imagine where it would be possible to establish a tent, and the most important was that we could see how long will be the summit ridge. It's very mentally, it's very important to be prepared that up there. And one day our meteorologist told us maybe the 21st of August could be a perfect day for you, but the days before are not very stable. So we decided to start into bad weather, and we went up to Camp 1, where we had to shovel out the tents. It was a lot of snow over there, and it was so much snow that we had to stay one day. And luckily the next day we had some hours of sunshine, so all the big avalanches came down, and this was the most important for us. We were convinced that the next morning we will get quite stable weather, that we can continue climbing up to Camp 2, but during the night, it was around midnight, the snowfall started again, and at 5 o'clock when we left our tent, we had already quite a lot of snow. And then came the very difficult moment where my husband Ralph, he was just behind me, told me, "Gerlinde, now I stop climbing. It's too risky for me and I have no more good gut feeling, I have to return." And until this moment, I was so convinced, so sure that I will try together with Ralph, also with the others, to reach the top of K2. And in that moment, everything turned around. But we had this situation already some years ago. We were discussing about situations like this, and we decided that if each of us is healthy and strong enough, he can decide by himself. And so Ralph did not ask me in the first moment to turn back, but I also did not ask him, "Please join me." So it was very important that we accepted each other's decision. The weather did not improve. We had still snowfall the next day, but now the route became so steep that it was no more avalanche danger. And finally, in the late afternoon, we reached the place where we shoveled out a small platform. And this was now the first time after 2 days that I could speak again with my husband, with Ralph. He was very much worried about us. You see, we climbed up to 7,300 meters. It was quite cold, but then on 7,300 in the evening, finally, the wind decreased and we had a good night. We could sleep over there, we could recover a little bit. And I spoke again with Ralph by walkie-talkie, and he told us, "Gerlinde, the next day will be good. I'm very sure about this." And I was just happy. I was so motivated. And I saw also that in the upper part, the strong, very strong wind has blown away all the snow, and so we found perfect conditions. We moved up to 8,000 meters very quick, and it was just fantastic. Not one cloud on the sky, and we could see all the Kuen-Lung mountains. And also in this moment, I felt that I get a lot of energy back from this great nature. The next morning, we started quite early from our last camp at 8,000 meters. We had a fantastic day. The weather was just perfect. Only few days you can find weather like this, especially on K2. But then we're confronted with a lot of so-called spin drift. It's a very soft, loose snow who comes down from the summit part, and sometimes it's quite difficult to keep the balance. And then we tried to cross the Japanese couloir, and when we tried to cross, we found snow up to the waist, and it was just too dangerous to traverse at that point. I called again Ralph by walkie-talkie. I explained him our big problem. It seemed that we have to turn back, but Ralph had seen with the binocular that there is a big crevasse who leads from the very right side far to the left side, and he told us we have to climb just below this crevasse. It would be possible, and you can see it was possible. We found less snow, and there was no more avalanche danger. But nevertheless, we moved far too slow. We saw that during this day it would not be possible to reach the top, to reach the highest point. And on 8,000 meters, there's only 1/3 of oxygen pressure left. And we all were not acclimatized, we were not adapted on the low oxygen pressure. So we decided to find a quite safe bivouac place over there. First, we had to cross this ice wall, and we climbed up to around 8,300 meters. At 1:30 in the morning, we climbed up some meters, maybe around 40, 50 meters, I don't know anymore exactly, but it was so cold that we couldn't feel our fingers and feet, and so we had to turn back to our small bivouac tent. We went inside again, and we decided to wait until the morning time, then we will have maybe warmer temperature. We left our bivouac place at 8 o'clock in the morning. We knew that it is really late, but we were prepared. But then, just some meters above, we found again snow until our waist, and we tried to break trail in 3 different directions, but it was not possible to move ahead. And maybe you can imagine, for 30 altitude meters, we needed around 3 hours. Maybe it's difficult to understand what we are doing up there, but there was the big willpower to climb up to the top, and the weather was still perfect, so we continued climbing. And this was a part where we were quite fast, but only few meters we had conditions like this. And then we found the very heavy snow. And here we are already above the very difficult part. And these are the last meters now up to the snow ridge. And on the snow ridge, we found again perfect conditions. And in this moment, a very, very strong feeling came up and gave us a lot of power. And it was so emotional for me to do the last steps up to the top of K2. It was a long life dream came through in this moment, and it was just so emotional. I felt that it was like a big present from the whole universe. We reached the top, but it was a big success from the whole team. All this together made it that we had a great success. And once again, thank you very much to all of you. Thank you very much.